So after we construct our basis setup for our scene, um, I think one thing for sure we want to get in as fast as we can, which is lighting, because without lighting, actually, it is really difficult for us to know is our composition work or not. And also because lighting will giving us contract between light and shadow, and also giving us the value structure. And also, value is the super important thing to see a storytelling, well, realism feeling the kind of concept illustration. So yeah, but before that, as you may notice, I creating a new design, and this design is coming from this reference image. As you can see, I feel like a circle inside the center is extremely cool, and also creating a very good contract between, the whole thing is a cubicle, square looking feeling, but in the inside, in the center, we got a cylinder, we got a circle look. So there's a great contract, and also it's a literally a point of interest, you know, is a literally a point. And yeah, let's get into the lighting. We can see the lighting from the our reference is a backlight. It's like lighting from the phone directly hitting our camera. So the setup I like, which is I would go to cycle render and I will change my device into GPU. I think if you don't have a very good graphic card, you can using CPU, but it's going to be a lot slower. And yeah, and I've been using I still continually tweaking a lot of things, And previously, and I will set sampling a very low, and also as you can see, I have this kind of daylight, which is I was going to word property, and in the word property I am uh, just setting the surface and choosing color into sky texture, and I will using the second. The first one is going to be sunlight, and I was using the second one, which is going to be giving us a very diffuse in ambient skylight. Well, make our scene covering in the very diffuse skylight, a blue uh, uh, gradients. And you may feel very familiar because it's something, when there's no direct sunlight. Basically, this is the lighting from atmosphere. And also I will creating a sunlight, which is adding the light that the cold sun uh, directly after the setting of the skylight, because this sunlight is can giving us a more control, and I want to give it more strong lighting. And also it because I wanted this lighting to similar sunlight, I want to give it then a bit warm hue and saturation. And as the reason that I created the setup is because, by rotation, I can control the lighting very easily. And of course, maybe you are using a lot of add-on, but there's a lot of good add-on, but I didn't using a lot of add-on. Well, comes to the lighting. I mean, I using a lot of add-on for other things, but comes to lighting, I feel like this setting is actually good enough for me. And yeah, let's changing the direction from the direct lighting, the lighting directly toward to the our camera. As you can see that I was tweaking lighting here and there and try to creating the right direction. And as now we actually started to see our shape better. And also I just wanted this lighting creating the contrast that can serve the composition that we learned from Roland's work. And I am after we building this lighting, we actually uh, I would say till this point we are started to really making our composition because like I previously mentioned, without the lighting, it's just very difficult for us to tell is this composition going to work or not. So actually, this is the true. I think this is the true power of 3D concept design, which is by you know adding all this factor together, lighting, perspective, texture, detail, it's just everything together. Even you can add in atmosphere perspective. By creating all those things together, we can finally make sure that our concept can be as close as possible to the final product. Could be again, it could be a movie, could be animation, CG show film. You know, uh, um, this kind of for me, it's like till this point, I would say I usually really started design at this kind of setup, lighting and composition all set up. Then I would start to try to figure it out the design after. And I think it's just a very good way to just you know to make a very effective choice. Um, to make sure that every decision we make is actually going to make a very visible changing and just very easy to make sure every move we do is going to be very effective to the whole thing. And of course, it is because we are designing the shape and the form inside the lighting and composition. Sometimes this design going to be not work very well in different camera angle or different moment. But that's something we can do later. And yeah, this is the example that I wanted to tell, which is with lighting, with sunlight, without sunlight, we can still see the shape and form, which is kind of similar to this. This is from my previous tutorial. And with sunlight, we have a contract, which is we can see the turning, the angle are turning. We can see the structure better. We can see the slightly changing. Well, not slightly changing. It's actually quite very strong changing between the face going to get the lighting and the face inside the shadow. And this kind of contract are going to guide us, guide our eye to see, wow, that seems to be an important thing. And of course, also because the position is in the center, and that's still important. And this is another example, which is the lighting on the, not center part. And it's actually not that bad because it's creating a linear perspective guiding our eye into the center. But I just feel like, it kind of sort of get our attention, will a bit confusing. It's like our eye into the edge of the composition seems to be a weird thing to me. So I feel like the contrast between sky and the silhouette of those buildings. I mean, of course, you may feel they are building, but silhouette of something in the side is actually strong enough to guiding our eye. And I think I don't want too many lighting to hit that part. I want the light just hit in our central element. So as you can see, that's how my approach to lighting and how to using light to approach composition. Yeah, continue to tweaking things here and there. You're going to see a lot. When I just like walking around and just like I'm like try to looking for good composition, try to make balance at the same time, creating more cohesive, but at the same time keep the rhythm and everything's going on, and tweaking the lighting continually. Excuse me. Um. Yeah. So what I'm doing right now is, I guess I am. Oh, I want to move to collection. Well, organize the file a little bit. I usually, actually, I'm not a good organizer. I usually keep my file pretty messy. Not because I'm creative, because I'm pretty lazy. I just didn't do it a lot, but now I feel like maybe we should do it a bit because have clean file structure for sure. It's going to helping us navigation our file and keep the efficiency. Yeah, and also sometimes your scene will get very heavy, so you need to turn off some part in order to continually to design something. And I was still not sure about the composition going because, and also I want to continue to tweak lighting and just, it is a very dynamic process, and I think I really like what animation industry call this just they call them visual development. And I think because it is a visual, right, and also it is a development process, we needed to think about the approach that could be just continuing to figure out the answer, because we kind of doing something that no one are doing this before, and we are doing keep edge, we are doing 3D, but at the same time, this is a division that no one has done before, which is you're going to only do something you can do. Is because it's your approach. Even you make any decision, maybe at the first play you didn't feel like they work well, but it still is the decision you make. So no matter what you do, is part of process, and it's only it is your accent. It's like this word your accent sounds like a positive thing, but also sometimes could be negative because we can make weird accent, right? We can say ee, ooh, and just make no sense. And later on, we notice those accents they are noisy. And in the commercial project, we're probably going to reducing those weird accent and and just doing the accent that makes sense to people. So yeah, I'm here to. You can see I made a lot of mistake. I was tweaking thing along. I was moving thing around. I make not a very effective a move to just doing a lot of weird stuff here and there. But overall, it is still just very good way to figure out what's the good composition. Because we got already everything got set up, right? Lighting and our sing, our pitch, and overall, I just try to follow the what Roland the masterpiece, and also try to follow the genre, which I didn't talk about it previously, which is the cyberpunk genre, and that's something we always need to keep in head, which is uh, we wanted to follow the genre, and yeah, I think next thing is I'm going to changing the material, which is is another mistake, you know, I did. I am changing all the glass material into metal, which is a silly move because it didn't make it's not a very how to say it doesn't make sense, right? We want glass, why the f we wanted to change into metal? But I would say metal looks also like reflective glass, kind of similar, and I think it's going to be work well in our scene. And also, who knows, if I didn't tell you it's metal, it looks like glass, perfectly. And also because our what we're doing is cyberpunk, right? Uh, let's just bring our genre back again. It's cyberpunk, it could be very cyber, and it's messy because it is punk. We can give ourselves a little tolerancy about that. Well, at least I give myself the kind of tolerancy. I let myself pass on that, and now I just changing all the glass into metal because if I do it in the beginning, I could not doing this, by manually, but I forgot about it, and I just now I just repeat this process. You may heard about my Artstation uh voice. So yeah, it's a long process by just changing material. I think there's a much smarter way, but I'm not very smart about this thing, so I just doing manually. Yeah, finally. And yeah, continue tweaking the lighting. And I wanted because I want the light to be a radiate light, which is it going to hit the building on the left and also hit the building on the right. But I noticed that seems to be very difficult to achieve with one lighting, so I just duplicating the lighting. I duplicate the sun. It's also another silly, not make any sense move, but actually it makes sense because um we try to well, because in the cinema photography, actually a lot of lighting looks very nature, but they are 100% man-made. So in my scene right now, I have two sun, two hitting both on left and right. That's an effect I wanted to achieve. I wanted the kind of feeling because you see Roland masterpiece. You can see there's a heat surface hitting the light, but on the foreground we also got a little you see the edge between the face hitting the ground, hitting the light and didn't hitting the light. So it's like almost like a shotgun. It can radiate into both in right and left surface. So that's the effect I wanted to achieve too. You can see when I turn off and I turn on. And yeah, this is I just want to say there's really no limit as long as the picture, the composition, the contract, the silhouette, all those things serve the composition. You can have a lot of freedom to do a lot of experimental move. And yeah, I think this is pretty much